Alright then, welcome one and all to this very first edition of Teal Lane. Whether you are listening to this as part of our latest episode of the Teal Report podcast, or you're watching the video version for my official YouTube channel, and please, if you listen to this podcast, go and subscribe to that. I've got so much wonderful Teal Report content on there for you guys. Welcome to this very special segment. So, we're going to be having this at the end of each episode of this anniversary season of the Teal Report podcast. It still feels weird saying that. Oh my god, it still feels weird to be an anniversary because it's almost like the time has flown by. But yeah, so we're going to, so it's a special way to celebrate our anniversary because, like I said, we are literally milking it. Literally, we are milking the anniversary this year. We are literally just milking it. You will literally, by the time you get to the end of season 5, you will remember it as it was the anniversary season. So you want to be 5 years. Milk it while you can. But I wanted to celebrate our show in a very special way. So I thought, let's, at the end of each episode, let's do little segments, similar to what we did in season 3, when season 3 was during the Sharks' 30th anniversary season. But this is going to be more personal because it's more related to our show. So before we start with this, so I should actually, before we even start today's segment, I should remind you that we're recording, these Teal Lanes are going to get recorded as a video, so they can be put on my YouTube channel as like a bonus Teal Report vid, but they'll also be converted to an audio file to go along with the episode that segment corresponds to. Okay, so that's just a clap how it's going to work. There will be, in the podcast episode, there will be a link to the video version, just in case you want to check it out, alright? So, make sure you always get that. Okay, so I thought for our first stroll down Teal Lane, we could go all the way back 5 years ago to the very, very beginning when we were coming up with the idea for this show. Because, and I think I've mentioned it once already before the podcast, Teal Report originally was not going to be a podcast. The original idea back in the summer of 2018 was that this was going to be like a weekly YouTube series recapping. And when I think back to its original idea, it just feels completely unrecognisable to what the end product has been 5 years on, and it just makes me feel, that idea was completely stupid. What were you thinking, mate? It was never gonna work. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that we have gone down the route we have, because for me, it's worked so much better than I could have ever have hoped for. And while we have been experimenting with different ideas, with different segments every now for the whole 5 years, and I think we'll always continue to keep doing that, because the beauty about Teal Report is that we're always mixing it up. We always want to experiment new ideas, and it just makes the show fresh. It just makes it feel work, and it kind of feels like each new season kind of feels like day one all over again. But the original idea for Teal Report was going to be like a weekly YouTube show where I would recap all the games that had happened across that week for the San Jose Sharks and give you my honest opinion on it. But as we were sort of coming towards the beginning of the 18-19 season, so I think it was probably around about pre-season time, I was thinking, hang on, that's not really going to work, because what happens if I can't be on here every week? What happens if for some reason I need to be away and we miss a week? Everything would then just go out of the sync. Do you then do like a do we just skip that week? Do we then do like a bumper edition? It would have gone out of kill. And also, given how the Sharks' schedule, as you know by now, if like me you've been in it for the long haul for a good lengthy time now, you know that every week there's not like the same set amount of games. So each week's content would have buried in different forms of lengths. It would have been all. It just would have been, all over the place. So around about, so like a good month, so like a good month before the season was due, that 1890 season was due to begin, I had to literally rethink, go, no, this will not work. I mean, I had the artwork, design and everything. Obviously, that has now changed into something brand new, which I actually really do. I really do love the new artwork we've done this year. It just feels so special. It feels so unique. It still feels niche. It just feels a lot more sophisticated, a lot more professional. I just really love it, and plus it gives me like a little touch I can replicate for Teal Report bids, which was hard to do. We got those running. But yeah, so literally like a month before, it's like during the pre-season, I had to go, right, no, we're gonna have to change it completely. And what can we do instead? What could be for a seasonal show? Because let's face it, this was going to be a seasonal show. This was brand new for me. I mean, my brand has been going on now for a good 13 years. I've never really done like seasonal stuff before. I've never really done like a seasonal show where you only do it for like a set amount of time, for a set length of time throughout the year. I've never really done a seasonal show before. So this was brand new territory for me. So I generally thought, what would work better? What could be easier to do to add to my portfolio? And that's when doing it as a podcast. That's what I thought. Okay, that will work better. We've already delved into that with playoff mode. I do miss that. It's been a while, hasn't it, since we've done that, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been a while. But that's sort of a good idea if we get the playoffs. So, but I did miss doing that. It's nice every now and then. But and also now, the playoff drought has come at the wrong time, because I could easily now entwine that with Teal Report. It could be like double up with both shows, but of course, one day. Yeah, so I already know how to do podcasts and everything, so I thought, right, let's just do it. And it works it's worked so much better. It's meant that I can devote more time to it, focus more on what on the planning, on the production side, and focus on what I wanted to do with the show, how the structure works. So like for example, how do we design how are we gonna jot the notes down? When do we do that? Do we wait for the whole month to play out? Do we do it game by game? I'm gonna let you into a little production secret here. At the end of after each game, so whether that's by me having watched it in full, listened to the Sharks audio network, or check the highlights videos on airshot.com the next day, whatever way it is that I've got literally into the game, immediately the next day, and even if we have a back-to-back situation, literally the next day, I process the thoughts, jot them down, put them on the episode notes, and then it's good to go, ready before we come to the show. So, there's a little production secret there for you guys, a little behind-the-scenes stuff for you. I'm actually hoping that these Teal Lanes are going to actually give you behind-the-scenes stuff, because it would really help me to interact with you guys more on the show, get you guys more, what the stuff we do here. So yeah, so I hope we have more of these behind-the-scenes moments on this segment. But yeah, so that's how it went. And in all honesty, 5 years down the line, I look back and think, while the original idea would have been good, I don't think that would have been long term. And I wanted to have something long term, because with me, whenever I've been thinking about a new show idea for the brand, I always think, right, how can we make this long term? I have done some mini-series, but that's because they were planned as mini-series. It wasn't just, we've come to the end of the road now, it's time to put that to the brand. Whenever I'm coming up with a new idea for a new show for to add to my portfolio, to the brand, to GGH Styles, I always think, can this be long term? Can it be? And that's what I wanted, and it was better. I don't see the original idea. It would have probably lasted for the first year. So for the 2018-19 season, it would have worked for that. But then after that, I would have had to have gone back to the drawing board, because it probably would have worked. But yeah, so I mean, I really just love bringing you this show. I mean, if you asked me what is one of my favourite shows to make across GDH sales after my cover videos, it would have to be Teal Report, because I love how so unique this show is compared to my other shows. Because every single season now, we've been doing, obviously this is now season 5 for us, but every single season it has felt like day one all over again, and that for me is what kind of makes Teal Report so unique on my brand. It makes it feel so fresh because every season's different. Okay, you know, whether you're a player contender or not, every season is always different, and it's always brilliant because you never quite know what's going to come for your TDHL, and that's what makes each show exciting, particularly when we're taking the joint notes up each game. It always makes it so exciting, and for me, it never really feels like it's been like, 3 years or 4 years or what is now 5 years. It literally, I'm literally, when it came to the end of the last season, and we were going in to prep for what was going to be this season, it generally didn't really hit me until we got to, recording the looking ahead segment on the season finale. It didn't really sort of hit me until then. I was like, oh my god, next year, it is our birthday season for us. I'm like, how has that time gone by so fast? Has it already been 5 years? It's just, wow. It was just, and it's just been incredible. Because I really feel that this show has filled a gap in the market. Because the idea behind doing Teal Report was, I was just getting sick and sick and sick of watching videos on the NHL Network where they seem to think they knew a better job than me. Whenever I see anything on the NHL Network to do the Sharks, whenever I watch it, I always then think, do you know what you're talking about, mate? Because that was a load of... You get drift. Insult level rude where you want there, but... I'm a Shark, mate, and I know what you... I could have put that a lot better than what you did. I thought I could have done a lot better job than what they did. Now, sure, a lot of sports fans say that, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and actually do it, and actually do it, actually create a show, actually do it, actually talk my thoughts on it, and so I put my money where my mouth is. So yeah, but I was just getting so sick of seeing middle white men in their shiny business suits with their hair gel sprayed hair, thinking they knew what they were talking about to start my Thursday Sharks. Because let's face it, you didn't know anything. A lot of the time you hear them say, oh, they're old. Well, newsflash, we're all gonna get old. Do you know what it is? It's called aging. But yeah. So do what? Our broadcasting team for Sharks games, they are absolutely amazing, top notch. But when anybody on the NHL Network talks Thursday Sharks, I think, what the hell are you talking about here? You've not got a clue. You've not got a clue what's going on there. Really, no, you have not got a clue. So yeah, that was the idea behind doing Teal Report. It was to give you guys an honest fan's opinion on the Thursday Sharks, and I literally have. That has been the one guarantee that we have managed to succeed across the place. Because I do not live in Southern California. I live here in Drury, England. I'm a Manchester boy, born and bred. So I live on the other side of the pond. That's 8 hours behind California. So for what it's going to be my honest opinion, and I just thought that's what's given Teal Report its authenticity, because we are literally an honest, no hold back opinion of what's going on inside the Shark season. And the brilliant thing, of course, about me being able to do the show is, of course, I can give you 100% honest feedback. Broadcasters on the actual network, they can't do that, But That's being my show, because I'm not affiliated with anybody. It's all coming from me. I can say whatever I like and get away with it. And give you full honesty, which is kind of what we want, because the fans are what makes the team. Okay, you can get you can get all these great star players, you can get so many great sponsors and everything, but without the fans, you are nothing. And that is what Teal Report was all about. It's, you know, it's a show for the fans that has been made by a fan, and I feel we need to have more fans-related content on the actual network. We really do. So yeah, so I feel like I was taking a gap in the market there. So I just wanted to just reminisce now on our very first episode we did all the way back in the 18-19 season, and our structure, which worked really well. That was also another thing we had to come to the drawing board, because okay, now we're not going to do it as a weekly thing. We had to then decide, right, what do we do now? Because do we record it? Do we do what? Do we record 2 shows a month? Where we record them how it's been going, you know, for the first half, second half? Do we wait until the games for that month have been played, then do it as like a look back thing? And the way it's worked is actually brilliant. You know, how we let that month that we're going to talk about play out. So, for example, the first, so let's say, for example, because obviously we've had October being done now for the 2023 season. So let's use obviously October as an example. So, for example, in October, we let October play out. Then, come November, we recap it and just look back on the month. That I think really worked. And for me, where we were redesigning it to be a podcast, that was literally straight away how I wanted to do it, because I think it would have been a bit messy if we thought, right, okay, we'll do the first half of the month and then we'll do the second half of the month. Because it would have been it would have been quite messy, wouldn't it? Because you probably would have had to it probably would have been messy. You probably would have had to, I don't know, would have had on your podcast feed, you probably would have had one episode come out at the end of that month in question, focus on the first half of that month, and then the beginning of the next month you would have another episode talk about the second half. It would have been it just would have been messy, wouldn't it? So for me, that was the first we were kind of big on when we were trying to realize podcasts. How do we structure it? Do we do 2 episodes? Do we split them up into 2 episodes? Do we do it as one big whole, but wait until after it's been played? That we got right from the get-go, just so amazing. So I want to talk about our first episode and just, you know, reminisce on that. It's been, you know, an absolute blast. But it was just so amazing, you know. So we published our very first episode, and if I bring up our webpage on Anchor. Yep. If you visit our webpage on Anchor.fm, it's anchor.fm/Teal Report. That is where you can find out where we are distributed. We're across. It gives you a list of where to listen to us. So for example, we're on app. So for example, our main one is Apple Podcasts, but you can also see us on Castbox. Listen! Sorry. You can also, so as well as Apple Podcasts, you can also listen to us on Castbox, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and Stitcher. Yes, those are some of the places you can listen to us. We're always trying to branch out, so if there's any like new podcast providers out there who want us on board, we're always happy to branch out. We might get on Amazon one day. Who knows? But I know Amazon keep emailing me saying, "Oh, we'd like to," with all my other shows, like, "Oh, we'd like to distribute your podcast." I'm like, that'd be lovely. Have I really got to have an Amazon account to do that? Have I got? Oh dear, but yeah. So Amazon have been pestering. I'm like, well, we might go on Amazon, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. Might be something by the end of the season. We'll get on. But yeah, but Amazon they have literally emailed a couple of times saying, "Oh, we've noticed your pod. We'd like to distribute your podcast." I'm like, well, maybe we'll think about it. We'll definitely have a think, but not too sure. But yeah, but if you ever want to find out where we are distributed, you just need to go onto our webpage on Anchor.fm. It is Anchor.fm /Teal Report. That is where you can find out where we are distributed to, and also all our episodes across the last 5 years, they are all available there. So you can all, so that's another way and a free way to listen to us. Yes, there you go. So I'm just going on our webpage to try just to cross date our very first episode that we ever did. Yeah, so you just need to hold on for 2 seconds. So it was the 21st of November 2018. That was when we published our very first episode of the Teal Report podcast. And back then, it literally was like a this is it moment. It's like, ooh, right, okay. Then, the enormity of it just started to hit. I was like, okay, we're doing this. It's day one. We're just going to roll it. And literally all it was just, okay, here's what happened in the month of October that season for us. Here are my thoughts on it. And let's see if there's anything to talk about across the division. And I actually look back and think, I'm quite surprised that was a very, very short episode. It was about, 17, 18 minutes? But I think because back then, it literally was like day one, episode 1. So we were still trying to get... I remember during the first season, we literally were just trying to find our feet. Because literally, I had no idea if this was going to work or not. And it wasn't until we got to our sort of season 1 finale, I thought, yeah, this is great. This is working. Let's roll it, and it just carry on. But yeah, so I always look back on all episodes, and you can tell how far we've grown because they've grown in length and length and length and length. I think the longest one we did was back in season 3, during like the first half of that year, when obviously we had no idea when hockey was going to resume or not because of the pandemic. I think that is still our longest ever episode. It's about at least, was it 2 hours and some? About. I'll bring it up for you guys. That was a real episode, but there was like so much to cover. There was just so much to cover on that one. Let me find it for you guys. Let me just find out how long it was. Yeah. Or was it not? 2 hours and 6 minutes. But I think that's been eclipsed by sort of our season 4 eps, I think. Or obviously if you do subscribe, you will. Oh no, it's been eclipsed by the season 4 finale by an extra 2 minutes. Oh no! Sorry, no. The longest episode we did was in season 4. It was in season 4. Some of them got quite visible. The longest episode we've done in season 4 was 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's still been the longest episode. That was in season 4. Did our Global Series special eclipse that, or did it not? No, it didn't. Because I thought that was going to get into the 2 hour window, but no. But yeah. So it kind of feels weird looking back now, particularly when you look at some episodes from season 3, season 4, which have gone well over the 2 hour mark. I was doing a look back and think, did that really only take us, 17, 18 minutes to record? Because I felt when I did the recording of it, it felt a lot longer than that, but yeah. But I suppose back then we were literally just trying to find our feet. And now we've established ourselves. It was just brilliant. And it was just, yeah. So, but I remember when we were recording that, it was just like, this is real now, it's happening, this is real. We're actually going to do this. We're actually going to put our money where our mouth is. We're going to stick it to the editorial network and show them this is how you deliver an honest opinion about what's going on in during the season for a particular HR team. So, here you go. I'm going to put you all to shame. And, yeah. But never in a million years, when all the way back we recorded that first episode, never in a million years did I think we would get this far. It was always, like I said to you, I always hoped that it would end up being a long form show, a long term thing, like all my others have been. But I never really thought, could this work? Could it really work? Me doing a seasonal show, because it's not something I'm used to. I'm not. For me, throughout all my life doing content, creating, it's always been, as long as I've got an idea what to do for the show, we'll carry on doing it. We'll keep making them as long as we can come up with ideas for them. And you can spread it, the gaps you take to publish and everything. But this is new territory. This is like a seasonal show, so you've got to record it between this period, and it's worked, and I just love it, and I just can't believe it's been 5 years now already since we began. It feels like the time has flown by really, really quick. I'm just loving it. So yeah, so there you go. So that is our first edition of Teal Lane done. We're very, very excited to see how this is going to go throughout the season. So we're going to be looking back at several moments across the last 5 years, and it's going to be really, really great to go down memory lane and just relive those memories, and just, yeah, because it's been some wild and crazy times over the last 5 years. We've already packed a lot in. I mean, we are still quite a young show, but we've literally had some hair-raising moments, as we're going to talk about in the future. But yeah, so I'm just so yeah, it's just so wonderful to just, yeah. So it's going to be a really, really lovely segment to have to accompany, this anniversary season of the Teal Report podcast. We get to look back on what have been so many wonderful